Yeah, I think he's a guy that we had high regard for, had grades higher than the current round. Could play stack linebacker, gives us four down value, early downs, third down, and special teams. Team captain, green dot, 4.0 GPA, just a family-oriented guy, just a really impressive human being, and he's going to have an immediate impact for us.
Seems like y'all put a high priority this year, especially off-field character being a big thing. How much was that talked about in the pre-draft process?
I think it's always important. Again, obviously, the less things you're worried about off the field, the more you're focused on what needs to get done. And in this particular case, Barrett, had great recommendations. Obviously, selected captain by his peers, and clearly, pre-snap is in charge of that defense. So those things are all important, and allows you freedom to get some checks executed on the field. We like to do a lot of our stuff, on the grass, so to speak. So we need guys that can think on their toes and get us in the right call, and he's capable of doing that.
How is his play style different than Demetrius?
Yeah, so this is a true stack linebacker now, whereas Demetrius could be a little bit more of a combo, has enough length to play some off, OB for us. Where I think Barrett is more a stack linebacker, in the box linebacker, but good coverage skills, good in zone. And so just a little bit different in terms of, the style of play, but equally as important.
In the past, Bengals matched base with 5 defensive linemen, 2 linebackers. Like, are you planning on using 3 linebackers, maybe even 4 linebackers at certain times against bigger personnel?
Yeah, again, it just depends how it shakes out. But if we need to, play with more linebackers, or if it's bigger personnel and we need to play with 4 linebackers on the field, we'll certainly do that. And obviously, if they're intelligent, then that helps because they can learn multitude of positions for us.
Does this feel a little bit like 2020 now that you go back, you double dip, you're finding captains, high character guys?
Yeah, I just think, these guys, again, that group stayed together for 4 or 5 years and went to a Super Bowl, 2 AFC championship games, and a couple of division champions. So I think it's important that you have high character guys that will compete and understand the bigger picture in terms of leadership and on-field command and presence. And I think these guys do. I just met Demetrius upstairs, and that's how I felt. Everybody felt when he walked in. Just he's a man. He's a mature man, and he's got a wife and child, and this is business for him. And I feel that way about Barrett. I really had a good sense. He's one of the more authentic interviews that I did at the combine, and just really excited about the pick. And for us, again, it was another non-wavering moment in terms of this was the guy we were hoping to get, and it fell our way.
Good part of the impact LB on special teams also.
No doubt. All 4 downs, so early downs, third down, and special teams for Barrett, and that's what's attractive. As you start to get to this part of the draft, you're putting roles together, and we didn't feel like we had to compromise any of those roles with Barrett.
When you looked at how the Packers played on tape, what would you like to see? What do you want to see better from them as a unit moving into this year?
Yeah, I think for me, I haven't had that conversation, Ben, with them yet, and I just think it would be premature for me to say anything publicly, especially if I haven't even felt them on the field yet. You know what I mean? So I don't think that's fair. It's a fair question. It's not fair for me to answer it publicly because I haven't sat down with each of them individually. I had a long talk with Logan last week, but in terms of, okay, this is what you did. Here's our evaluation. This is our action plan moving forward. Right now, we're just trying to install our techniques and our concepts and make sure that the guys are off to a good start that way.
To kind of maybe pivot off that then, just generally speaking, when a group of backers is really hungry and really the defense and what it does well, in your mind, what does that look like?
Okay, so it's a great question. So again, in my mind, I always go back to the picture that a picture that I have that's dear to me is just the pregame before the Super Bowl, and just I can envision it left to right. Just Clay Johnson did early downs and special teams. Austin Colatro, was really good on special teams. Marcus Bailey, early down, third down, came through for us when Pratt couldn't play against the Raiders. Then he played for Logan against the Chiefs, right? So I can go on and on about that. So they all complement each other, and I think that's Bocce started against Denver that year, so that's what you're looking for. A lot of guys that just will be a pro every day, try to improve, try to define roles for them clearly, and if you want a promotion, execute your current role. It's pretty simple. So a lot of those guys got promotions as the season went on, and ultimately that's what manifests in success. So that's how I see it, big picture. And again, I am speaking about draft picks right now, but I would say the same thing about the current guys on our roster.
Al, you coached against, just to switch gears a little, against Dylan in Georgia, Dylan Fairchild in Georgia back in January. What stood out?
Yeah, just strong finisher. Had some, had an edge to him. Had a nasty edge to him, and he immediately makes you tougher. Anytime you can, wrestling. My son wrestled for a while, so anytime you can get a wrestler, it's just you and you out on that mat now. That's one of the most brutally grueling sports that there is. There's no escape, and here's a guy who excelled at it. And knows how to bend, knows how to use his hands, and knows how to slide his feet. So I'm really excited about him, and I know he's going to make us better.
Now, with all three of the guys that you draft now on defense, I would say they're probably three of the better athletes that have been available in this draft. Was that something that you look back in the film last year from what the defense did? Did you say we need more athletes, we need more quickness on the field?
Yeah, I just think we want to improve as many areas as we can, and then so you improve, right? You either require improvement or you develop it. So we are just as eager to develop it with our current group as we are as acquiring it, and so there'll be some changes in terms of techniques and things like that we've got to make sure we teach correctly and drill down on it, but. Again, we're trying to improve every position. That's what's going to drive this thing, and that's what we have to do at every position. And sometimes adding guys that are part of the competition drives it as well.
You guys have a lot of linebackers on the roster right now. Is it just numbers-wise? As you look kind of day 3 here, how do you balance getting a play you clearly hold in higher regard versus addressing a position where maybe you have fewer numbers?
Yeah, I think you're going to take 8 or 9 into camp. So we're right around there now. I think, but that's the number. We'll see how it shakes out. But again, when you have when the crossroads of evaluation and opportunity meet in terms of need meeting opportunity, there was a need and the valuation was high. It's hard to pass up that prospect.
Some good players that you coached the last couple of years have been taken. Some were still available when you run the clock. Was that difficult for you, knowing what they can do and the emotional attachment?
Yeah, this is for sure, but this is certainly bigger than just my purview. You're talking about, my goodness, the scouts upstairs have been, I met a kid one time at the combine, or went to see him one time, or evaluated him in one day. The scouts upstairs have been doing that for multiple years and watching these trends, and that's why they're so valuable. And we got position coaches, so there's so much that goes into it. And obviously, I'm pulling for those guys to all get drafted and find homes and have successful careers. And if it works out for us, it works out for us. But at the end of the day, it's about everybody upstairs coming together and identifying guys that can change our program.
You talk about the numbers. You only have like 4 defensive tackles on the roster right now. What do you feel like you have there in terms of pass rush, specifically on the interior defensive line? Is that something that's been on your mind in these conversations?
Yeah, obviously we got big and we're strong with BJ and TJ and we got Chris and McKinley. The other thing that that we've done a lot in the past is just make sure, you know, you have size in Joseph and Cam and guys like that that can rush inside. So for us, the spring is generally about, you know, if we're playing four down, there's 4 spots, you know, on that defensive line, and just making sure that everybody rotates through there. So you find the best combination, and it's not so stratified that, hey, the end's got to play here, and maybe your second best end is a number 1, third down rusher. So we'll make sure we rotate that around a lot to get a good look at everybody. But I don't want to discount anybody, especially not Chris and McKinley, who were banged up a little bit in preseason and had a little bit of a slow start to their journey here in the NFL. I can't wait to get them back out there and start working with them again.
You mentioned Joseph and Cam Sample, our Shamar and Miles Murphy, maybe potentially.
Sure, anybody could. Again, whatever is going to make sure that we can affect the quarterback and make as many plays as we can possible. You know, either hits, hurries, ball disruption, or sacks itself. So whatever creates more disruption and whatever that combination is. And again, to go where you want to go in this journey, man, you got to do it for 21 games. And so we need horizontal, vertical and horizontal depth to do that. And what I mean by that is some of those guys have to learn to go inside. Some of the linebackers have to learn to play on the edge and so on.
So just getting back to the Carter interview at the Combine, you said it was the most.
Yeah.
What was it particularly about that interview?
Just his priorities. You know, first of all, it wasn't canned. You know, it wasn't practice. I thought it was really the word that I wrote down on my notes was authentic. Just the relationship that he had with his pastor, back home, and 4.0 GPA, team captain. We have a sign down here in our weight room, FAT, P-H-A-T, and he's that. So he's a guy that, is a culture creator, and he'll improve ours.
When you talked with Shamar yesterday when he was in the building, what was that like to get him here and chat with him a bit?
Really good. So he was here this morning too. So again, talking ball, just inquisitive, and just really looking forward to, getting them back whenever the rookie minicamp starts. And but those guys are leaving with iPads. I mean, there's a premium right now in terms of, all right, let's get jump started. Let's make sure that everybody has a really good springboard on the first day we go out there.
Have the first 4 rounds gone how you thought? I mean, did you expect to be 3 of the 4 picks to be on your side of the ball?
No, you never know. You never know how it's going to work out. But I think in certainly the last 2 cases, obviously Shamar was graded really high by a ton of people. But in the last 2 cases, we felt like we got a really high value. And I'm sure we'll continue to do that, whether it's offense, defense. These next couple rounds, there's going to be guys that in round 5 that have fourth round grades, and I mean multiples, cross checks, scout to scout, coordinator to position coach, and that's the matrix we just did upstairs with Barrett, and we had a bunch of grades that were not where he was taken. They were better, so that's what created it.
On paper, Al, how much different, better, improved, whatever word you want to use, are you now than you were coming into the draft, both on the defensive line and the linebacker?
Yeah, I just felt like I feel like we're too deep at linebacker now in terms of if we're playing 4-2, we still need some help in terms of if we're playing base with 4-3 structure. So I just feel like we have 6, 7 linebackers. I think we have more ends now. So I think we've fortified a bunch of positions, and it just gives me a sense of, okay, now we can plot the course, because we were waiting for are we going to be a big nickel team against 12 personnel, and that are we going to be a base team? So now at least we know now we have the components to go ahead and invest in a base package if we wanted to.
Think so.
Okay, guys.
Thanks, Al.